My channel. So I'm so excited about this week's coaching video because today we're going to be talking about dealing with past hurt, and we all have experienced some kind of a hurt, right? So let's jump right on in. So we all have been hurt, right? And you can't be an adult or a teen alive today who hasn't experienced some kind of emotional pain. It hurts, and I get that. It hurts a lot, right? But what you do with that hurt is probably more important than the hurt itself. So in short, how do you let go of past hurts and move on? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So when you blame other people for your hurt, because most of us start off doing this, right? Somebody did you wrong, or they wronged us in some way that mattered to us. We want them to apologize. We want them to acknowledge what they did was wrong. But blaming someone else for our hurt can backfire. See, the problem with blaming other people is that it often leaves us powerless. For example, you confront the person. It could be your boss, it could be your spouse, it could be your parent, it could be your child, your neighbor, the mailman, whoever. And you say, you did such and such that hurt me. And that person says, no, I didn't. Because in their mind, they didn't do anything wrong. Or even worse, y'all, even worse, they say, okay, so what if I did? Then you're left with all this anger and hurt and no resolution, right? Because they won't own up to what they did. So all your feelings are legitimate. It's important to feel them fully and then move on. Did you hear what I said? It's important to feel them and then move on. Don't feel them and linger in them, wallow in them, move on. Nursing your grievances indefinitely is a bad habit because it hurts you more than it hurts them. Because here's the thing, whatever it is that they've done, even though they know they've done it, they're not going to acknowledge it. But guess what? They're not sitting around worrying about it, but you are. It's beating you up. It's tearing you up inside. It's not bothering them at all, and they're moving on with life. People who hold on to these past hurts often relive the pain repeatedly in their minds, and that's torturous, y'all. Sometimes a person can even get stuck in this pain, in this hurt, and in this blame. So let's talk about 5 ways to let go of the past hurts. So the only way that you can accept new joy and happiness into your life is to make space for it. If you have all this hurt and stuff that's bound up right here, there's no room for joy and happiness here. You got to let that thing go so the joy and happiness can come in. If your heart is full with pain and hurt, how can you be open to anything new? You can't. So number 1, make the decision to let go. Let me say that again. Make the decision to let go. Things don't disappear on their own. You need to make the commitment to let it go. If you don't make this conscious choice up front, you could end up self-sabotaging any effort that you make to move on from the past hurt. Making the decision to let it go also means accepting you have a choice to let it go. So you do have a choice. You do know that, right? You probably didn't think you did, but you do. You have the choice. You have a choice of either holding on to it or you have a choice of letting it go. If I were you, I'd let it go. To stop reliving the past pain, to stop going over the details of the story in your head every time you think of the other person. And then after you finish step 2 below, after you finish step 2 below, which I'm going to give you in just a second. So Anthony Robbins says this, your past does not equal your future. Let me say that again. Your past does not equal your future. So number 2, express your pain and your responsibility. Express the pain the hurt made you feel, whether it's directly to the other person or through just getting out of your system, like venting to a friend or writing it in a journal or writing a letter that you're never going to send to anybody else. Get it out of your system at once. Doing so will also help you understand what specifically your hurt is about. Because see, sometimes we have so much hurt wound up in us that we're not even sure what it is that we're hurt about anymore. We don't live in a world of black and white, even when sometimes it feels like we do. While you may not have had the same amount of responsibility for the hurt that you experienced, there may have been a part of the hurt that you are particularly responsible for. And I think I've said this before. Whenever things don't work out, there's always a part that we play. See, we like to walk around with the whole woe is me thing. No, you played a part in that as well. And so you've got to dig deep to figure out what part did you play in it, acknowledge it, forgive yourself, and then you move on from it. So you have to ask yourself, what could you have done differently? What will you do differently the next time? Are you an active participant in your own life or simply a hopeless victim? And so, will you let your pain become your identity? Or are you someone deeper and more complex than that? We must be willing to let go of the life we've planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us. And this is a quote by Joseph Campbell. Number 3, stop being the victim and blaming others. Being the victim feels good. It's like being on the winning team of you against the world. But guess what? The world largely doesn't care. They don't care. Your feelings, they don't care, so you need to get over yourself. Yes, you're special. Yes, your feelings matter. But don't confuse with your feelings matter to your feelings should override all else and nothing else matters. Your feelings are just one part of this large thing we call life, which is all interwoven and complex and can be messy at times. In every moment, you have the choice to continue to feel bad about another person's actions or to start feeling good. You need to take responsibility for your own happiness and not put such power into the hands of another person. Let me put a pin right there. Honey, I'm not giving anybody else a bunch of power over me. It is not going to happen. I'm not giving you that kind of power. I'm just not going to do it. In every moment, I read it already. So no amount of worrying has ever fixed a relationship problem. Never. Not in the entirety of the world's history. So why choose to engage in so much thought and devote so much energy to a person who you feel has wronged you? Why? They're not thinking about you. Here's a great quote by Lyndon B. Johnson. It says, yesterday is not ours to recover, but tomorrow is ours to win or lose. Powerful stuff. Number 4, focus on the present. Now it's time to let go. Let go of the past and stop reliving it. Stop telling yourself that story where the protagonist, that's you in case you didn't know, is forever the victim of this other person's horrible actions. You can't undo the past. I don't care what you do, you cannot undo the past. All you can do is make today the best day of your life. When you focus on the here and now, you have less time to think about the past. When the past memories creep into your consciousness, as they're bound to do from time to time, because they do for all of us, acknowledge them for a moment, just a moment, y'all. I'm talking about a small moment, and then bring yourself gently back into the present moment. Some people find it easier to do this with a conscious cue, such as saying to yourself, it's all right. That was the past, and now I'm focused on my own happiness and doing, and you fill in the blank with whatever it is that you're doing. Remember, if we crowd our brains and lives with hurt feelings, there's little room for anything positive. It's a choice you're making to continue to feel the hurt rather than welcoming joy back into your life. Here's a great quote by Bob Newhart that says, laughter gives us distance. It allows us to step back from an event, deal with it, and then move on. I love that. Number 5, forgive them and yourself. This is so important, you guys. You've got to forgive them and then forgive yourself. We may not have to forgive another person's bad behaviors, but virtually everyone deserves our forgiveness. Sometimes we get stuck in our own pain and our stubbornness. We can't even imagine forgiveness. But forgiveness isn't saying, I agree with what you did. Instead, it's saying, I don't agree with what you did, but I'm going to forgive you anyway. Forgiveness isn't a sign of weakness. Instead, it's simply saying, I'm a good person. You're a good person. You did something that hurt me, but I want to move forward in my life and welcome joy back into it. I can't do that fully until I let this thing go. Forgiveness is a way of tangibly letting something go. It's also a way of empathizing with the other person and trying to see things from their point of view. And forgiving yourself may be an important part of this step as well, as sometimes we may end up blaming ourselves for the situation or the hurt. While we indeed may have had some part that we played in the hurt, there's no reason you need to keep beating yourself up over it. No reason at all. If you can't forgive yourself, how will you be able to live in the future peace and happiness? You can't. So you have got to forgive yourself if you want to move forward in peace and happiness. So I know this stuff is hard, right? And it's incredibly hard to let go of one's pain. It is. You're not going to do it overnight. I'm not asking you to do that. If we've held onto it for a long time, it feels like an old friend. Justified, it would be sacrilegious to let it go, right? But nobody's life should be defined by their pain. It's not healthy. It adds to our stress. It hurts our ability to focus, to study, and work. And it impacts every other relationship that we have, even the ones not directly affected by the hurt. Every day you choose to hold on to the pain is another day everybody around you has to live with that decision and feel its consequences. So yes, when you hold on to the hurt, guess what? Everybody around you has to deal with that pain that you're feeling, because indirectly you go off on them, you treat them in a way that's not necessarily a nice way, and they haven't done anything to you. So here's a quote that I like. I'm sorry, no. Before I get to the quote, so do everybody and yourself a big favor. Let go of the pain. Do something different today and welcome happiness back into your life. Cannot stress that enough. So here is a really great quote by Leo, and I'm going to take a stab at this last name, Buscaglia. It says, let go. Why do you cling to pain? There's nothing you can do about the wrongs of yesterday. It is not yours to judge. Why hold on to the very thing that keeps you from hope and love? And then here's another great quote by Bill Cosby that says, people can be more forgiving than you can imagine, but you have to forgive yourself. Let go of what's bitter and move on. Here's an unknown quote that I wanted to share, and it simply says, when you let go, you are truly free. I thought that was deep, y'all. When you let go, you are truly free. And here's another great quote by Mandy Hale, and it says, letting go does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop trying to force others to care. Love it. And last quote I have for you is an unknown quote, and it simply says, forgive what hurt you, but never forget what it taught you. Excuse me, and I'm so sorry, you guys. I saved that one for last because it's so powerful. Let me say that again. Forgive what hurt you, but never forget what it taught you. I'm trying to tell you, if you don't remember anything else I said to you today, you remember that quote, because that is so, so powerful. But I just wanted you to understand that if you're going through some kind of a hurt from a past relationship, honey, you got to let that thing go, because all it does is eat away at you. It's not eating away at that other person. You know why? Because they don't care. They moved on. You need to move on. Let it go. Let yourself open up to other things. You can't have a great relationship over here because you won't let go of the hurt that happened over there. I'm telling you, let that thing go, and you'll see. Been there, done that, have a t-shirt to prove it. That's why I can talk to you about this and be real with you, because I experienced that. And it was the worst thing. I went through my first breakup ever in my adult life. And heck, I was already in my 40s when it happened. So I know how awful it felt. And after a couple of months, you know what? I had moved on. I forgave myself because I acknowledged the part that I played in that, and that part that I played was staying with someone that I knew I should have let go a long time ago. So yes, I did play a part, but the way in which it happened was very hurtful, and like I said, it took some time. Went to church one night to revival. Honey, the choir sang this song, and I can't even think of the name of this song, but that thing just touched my spirit, and it talked about no more crying. And I said, Lord, I'm glad I came tonight, even when I didn't want to come, because I decided that night, that when I went home, when I left that church, I was not going to cry over that. I almost said something. I was not going to cry over that individual ever again. And that's what you have to do. Let go of whatever it is. If you need to have one last cry, have it. But whatever you do, let it go. And if you find that you can't really let it go, I'm wearing my life coaching hat right now. Reach out to me. Let's talk about how we can come up with some steps to help you let go of that thing, because I want you to live the best life possible, because you deserve it. Let me go over these with you one more time, and I promise I'll let you be. So, in order to let go of past hurts, you need to make the decision to let it go. You need to express your pain and your responsibility. Then you need to stop being the victim and blaming other people. Then you need to focus on the present. Stop living in the past. And then last but not least, you need to forgive them and then forgive yourself, because you did play a part in it. And I can tell you, walking around worrying about it, it's not going to fix it. It's not going to make it go away. And like I said before, the person that wronged you, honey, they are moving on with life. They're enjoying themselves. They're not thinking about you at all. So stop giving them any of your time and energy. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for my newest subscribers. Thank you for those of you that continue to support me. I love you all to the moon and back. And please, please decide today that you're going to let go of past hurts. And I promise you, you will make the rest of your life the best of your life. Until next week, I wish you all great happiness, great success, and much love. Take care.